Right. I'd like to welcome everyone to our event tonight as we launch this new chapbook, Opening Doors Through Stories, Imagine. Thanks so much to those who have come here in person and also to those who are joining us online. My name is Marie Powell, and my pronouns are she, her. I'd like to identify myself for those who are visually impaired or listening online. I'm a Caucasian woman in her mid-60s with brown hair and wire-rimmed glasses. I'm wearing a black print shirt and a black jacket. We may all be coming together from different places and time zones now. Today we are broadcasting from Treaty 4 territory here in Regina, Saskatchewan, which includes the unceded territories of the Nahiwak, Anishinaabe, Dakota, Lakota, and Nakota nations, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. I'm the editor of this chapbook, thanks to the Saskatchewan Writers Guild, or SWG, and also to the Regina Open Door Society, or RODS, for giving me that opportunity. I'm very honored to be a part of this experience and to work with these very talented writers and to be here with you tonight to listen to them read. The Guild is also fortunate to have the support of our major funders who make events like this possible: Sask Lotteries, in proud partnership with Sask Culture, Canada Council for the Arts, and the City of Regina. We're also supported by RODS funders, Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada. So if you're watching on Zoom, live text captions are available through Zoom. Before we get to the readings, though, we want to thank all of the people whose efforts have resulted in this chapbook, especially to the teams at SWG and RODS, and to our contributors. Thank you. And now we want to hear from some of the people who will be bringing greetings. Please join me in welcoming Getachew Wadosas from RODS to say a few words.
Yeah. Thank you very much. My name is Getachew. I'm the manager of Settlement and Community Services. I like to welcome everyone here. I really would like to thank Writers Guild for this great partnership. We have been doing this for the last 5 years, year after year. The stories of the newcomers who are telling the story is very inspiring and educational. And I also would like to acknowledge and thank you, Mary, for her contribution to this. I don't think without her work we would be able to do this. And to other writers who also in the past facilitated our events. I remember a few years ago I was in Ottawa for a meeting. I took a lot of 12 chapbooks and I distributed. I gave it to the Minister of Immigration and others. And the next day, one of our senior administrator at Immigration came to me and he said, "Wow, I was very inspired. I was reading all night. Now I cannot even attend the meeting," because he was so tired from reading all night. So it is a very inspirational story. Thank you for spending the time, committing the time to do this, and we look forward to hearing your story. Once again, welcome and thank you.
And now it's my turn. As the editor of Imagine, I'm very fortunate to have been able to work with this talented group of writers. We got together on Zoom 4 times to read and discuss their stories during 4 workshop sessions. And then I was able to participate in the development of the chapbook as the editor. The skill and dedication of this group of writers that they brought to the process made my job so much easier. But all the work that we did together up to tonight has been online or on Zoom. So tonight's the first time I'm meeting these writers face to face, and I'm so excited to hear all the work that's going to be read tonight and the discussions that are going to go on tonight as well, hopefully. So our first reader tonight is Samira Hamidi. She was born in December 1994 in Jowzjan, Afghanistan. She studied psychology at Jowzjan University in Afghanistan. Samira is passionate about writing and has written short stories since childhood. When she came to Canada, she began to write stories for our program, and we are fortunate to have 2 of her stories in this chapbook. I think you'll agree that these stories could easily be expanded into novels, and I would like to welcome Samira to tell us a little about them.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. My name is Samira. I landed in Canada last year in July. Yeah. I was interested in writing of stories since childhood, but I love more reading of novels, and I can say my favorite authors are Khaled Hosseini from Afghanistan and Elif Shafak, Turkish writer. You might have read their novels as well. In this chapbook, I have written two stories, Child Labor and Sunbeam Mountain, and both of these stories are based on reality or based on concerns and challenges of Afghan families in individuals. It is so difficult to say, or it's difficult to mention a single inspiration for these stories, because there are a lot of inspirations. But behind my first story, Child Labor, there is a sad truth behind that. As I mentioned, I was born in Afghanistan and grew up there, and so I had seen a lot of children who were working on the street. And whenever I walked on the street, there were many children who were working on the street as a vendor. But once I saw a boy about 12, a vendor boy about 12, he was carrying a huge amount of items, a wheelbarrow, and it was somewhere around 50 degrees. He was struggling to carry the items, but he didn't have any ability to carry that items, and the items fell down in every 5 steps. After watching that scene, I couldn't forget that scene, like it remained for till now. That's why I wanted to write something related to that. So I wrote the Child Labor. It is it is about a family, their concerns, and specifically focused on a life of a young lady. Her name is Sarah. You will read in the story. And he is a student in university and belongs to lower income family, but she's passionate on learning and ambitious about her career as well. So she herself has a lot of concerns and problems in life, but still, when she watches that girls and children who are working on the street, she realizes those children's life are more hard, and even they don't access basic education in their country, and because of their responsibility against their family. So she forgets about her dreams, like about her problems, concerns, and she decides to make position and study hard. In future, she wants to invest to build a foundation for those children, to support them to not work on the street and just continue their education. So by writing of this story, I was going to represent the life of thousands of children who are currently engaged in child labor in Afghanistan, and still we have those problems in Afghanistan. And about my second story, Sunbeam's Mountain, it is also about the challenge and the problems of individuals and families who experienced some problems after occupation of Afghanistan, and the fear they had after that the government change and the situation they had. I have written about that. You can read more about that in Chapbook. Yeah, I recommend you to read those stories. And then I really appreciate the Regina Open Door Society to for providing this opportunity for us to write our stories and express this, and especially our instructor, Mary. She's really kind lady. Yeah, she encouraged me more. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And these stories are riveting, so you really must pick up the chapbook. Everybody who's here and everybody who is online, if you could get a copy, you can read it online and have a look at those stories. Of some stories. And next I'd like to introduce Alina Shylan. She was born in Lviv, Ukraine. She's a motivated and driven professional, a self-starter focused on driving company and industry growth. Alina works independently or as part of a team. She's a business professional with over 10 years of experience in sales, marketing, and business development. Alina has working experience in several industries, including banking, media, newspaper, radio, and television, and IT. Her story in our chapbook weaves a tapestry of excitement and romance. Let's welcome her to read a bit from it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very grateful that you come here. I would like to say a big thank you for Regina Open Door Society for this creative writing program, for Saskatchewan Writers Guild that can help to publish this book, for our instructor Aziz and Mary that can help us to write and encourage to be published first time in Canada. I'm also very grateful to government of Canada that helps Ukrainian to come here. So I'm newcomers and I landed in Canada last year, also in July. First government airplane. You know, we have war in Ukraine, so we are, as Ukrainian, we are very grateful to be here, safe, and that government from Canada, from Saskatchewan, can help Ukrainian to be a part as Canadian society. I will be reading today about my stories. It's romantic stories about love, because I think love is the main things that we can help us to move forward and not depends on war, of peaceful time. Love help us to survive, to live, and to be happy. Students walk. Okay. I learned a little bit about stories. So it's European stories. In Poland, I have studied master degree in environment protection and industrial ecology in Warsaw Polytechnic, and I write this story in Poland when I was student. So it's stories about students who travel, because when I study in master degree in Warsaw Polytechnic, I have a lot of travel for whole country. So it will be Polish like story between Alex from Ukraine and Agata from Poland. Some international love stories in summertime. Students walk through the night city, where there are many ancient Gothic churches and magical fairy tales present. Agata in a white, long, translucent dress. All night long they enjoy a fabulous city, Wrocław, as was similar to Prague a little bit. The city hosts a festival similar to the carnival in Brazil. Women in colorful dresses, men with torches, loud music, everything moves with different night flash like movie slides. Alex was in Wrocław for the first time in his life. He follows his nymph, admiring as unusual sight, half-naked woman on the catwalk who dance with their hips. He is afraid of losing his Polish treasure. His eyes run from blonde to woman and vice versa. Suddenly, Agata stops and says that she's cold. Someone pushes our poet and he almost knocks Agatha down. Suddenly, his face touches her lips and he kisses her young, hot lips without confusion. He slowly stops hearing the sounds of music. Agatha's sweet, hot lips are burning Alex as it, for the first time, the kiss warms our hero like hot wine in winter. The poet is filled with passionate desire. Hugging her by shoulders and holding her close, Alex whispers in her ear, "Let's go somewhere to warm up. It's cold here, noisy and uncomfortable. What do you think? Are you sure?" Agatha say, "Okay, sure." There is Starbucks around the corner. Agatha smiled mysteriously. They hugged each other waist and slowly walked at the cafe. There were explosions of fireworks. Many young people loudly shouted phrases that were difficult to understand. Alex was happy. He was feeling himself as if he had won the lottery of $1 million. He was terribly hungry, but he had the energy to unload the wagons on the railway station. Alex's heart was burning. Agatha's tenderness hypnotized him. He feels her charms the soul and penetrates in the very heart like a healing elixir. He realized that he now has everything. The joy of this experience pleased him so much that he had only a hunger and thirst for love. They were fall in love from first sight, sitting, surfing all the evening in old town of Wrocław, wandering the streets aimlessly. That is how people walking, overflowing with the passions of freshness of mutual feelings. What is Ukraine like? Tell me. How does it different from Poland? Agatha tried to start conversation again. Agatha, Ukraine is simple, romantic, naive, and defenseless as a woman, in a good way. Ukraine and Poland have a lot in common: the melodicality of language, hospitality, and delicious cuisine, the beauty of women. Poland is in European Union, and Ukraine fighting now to be part of European Union. Just now we have war because Ukrainian so desire this freedom and to be part as Europe. In Poland, I feel freedom to the full. I embrace it as I have been released from prison when I come here. Poland, as part of European Union, give people an opportunity to travel whole world. In Europe, I feel freedom and respect for people. Smiling faces of free people on the streets. At the moment they met some boy on street, he stuck a flower in the Alex's hand and invitation to the presentation of the book of Ukrainian novelist Taras Prohasko. The presentation will be right now in the Starbucks coffee shop across the street, said the promoter.
Thank you so much, Elena. Our next reader is Amira Omar. Amira is an Egyptian engineer and has worked as a textile mechanical engineer at one of the biggest textile companies in Egypt. Amira is also an Arabic teacher. Since arriving in Canada 3 years ago, she's been a volunteer with many organizations, including Regina Open Door Society. Amira was brought up with a lot of love, and she likes to share that with the world. She loves gum, even though it rots her teeth. And she believes that age is just a number. As long as you breathe, you can dream and achieve anything. Amira was also a student of mine at SAS Polytech for a little while, and I'd like to welcome her to share a little with us.
Thank you. I'm so proud to be your student, and to continue for this to improve, for the improvement for myself and my kids as well. Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Your dreams like a seed inside you. So you first have to believe in yourself to grow it, yourself for it to grow. So this is I do some flashcards to help my memory. Then I want to introduce myself. I am Amira. I am from Egypt. I believe that I have some kind of self-assurance, and this especially from God or Allah. So that support me always. This is like a sound or something, a voice inside me. I work with it within. So Next, in relation to this story, I would like to see you. I am sure that you will have a one copy of this one, of this story. I would like to thank so much Regina Open Door and SWG and Mary as well to give me this nice and huge opportunity to share. This is the fifth chapbook for Regina Open Door, and this is my story. It's called Lasting Impression. Regarding to the title, I am raising and educating my kids. My kids inspired and motivated me. I believe in that. Why? Always I raising and educating my children to focus on their strengths and to learn from improving from area of weakness and to learning from their flaws. I use this sentence always for them and for myself. First impression lasts. So that I use this one, lasting impression, for my story. So the main thing, the main inspiring one is my children to me, to write, to continue in that, to improve myself before improving themselves. So after that, furthermore, I want to read a few lines from this story, hoping that it can encourage you to complete it, to complete the entire story, this entire story. Maybe you can find yourself between the lines. Maybe these lines touch you. Maybe you have the same experience like Noor or like Amira, because this is maybe a real experience or a true situations for Amira or for Noor. Why I choose Noor? I would like to let you know all of them also. Noor in my language, I speak Arabic. And I said I am from Egypt. Noor is light. I put this one like a plant regarding to light. Light may be knowledge, may be freedom, may be happiness, may be everything to be good, to improve yourself. So for this line, please try to discover the things which I intended to provide here through these lines. So Noor set down the albums and opened her mobile phone. In her photo gallery, she spotted a very nice photo showing her family together at the airport preparing to move a new country. This reminded her of the decision she made to give up her career to raise her children. Her husband played a big role in supporting the family financially, so she decided that her role was to do a great job as a housewife and a mother. At first, Noor agreed with this decision, but after a while, she wondered where her dreams had gone. Where was that strong engineer that she remembered being a young woman? After they moved to the new country, she managed to find work again. She wasn't able to find work as engineer, so she volunteered as a teacher. She wanted to study again, but another teacher convinced her she was needed to help others to learn Arabic. She felt proud of herself. Again, after she felt proud of herself at this moment because she had already achieved so much and had started strong again after this long gap. Finally, I would like to thank you all for listening and sorry about that and for your attendance, especially my family. Big thank to Aziz and to Mary, because they believe that I can do something. I always write in Arabic. I didn't try to write in English like a story. The main helper here, Mary, thank you so much, my dear teacher, and also Aziz to give me this opportunity to join for the last session and to catch and to be here with you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
but a lot of work went into that from Amira's own heart. So thank you.
Thank you.
As with everyone, I think, as well. Next, Ifrah Jamal, a Pakistani-born woman who loves stargazing at any time of the day, is close to nature, and loves being surrounded by it. She graduated from university just in 2019 and got married in the same year. After immigrating to Canada as a permanent resident in 2021, she challenged herself to discover new and valuable opportunities here. She's willing to spread positivity in the world by sharing her voice in the form of her writing. So let's welcome her to spread some of her message.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming today. First of all, I would like to thank Regina Open Door Society for providing us this opportunity to share our experiences and our stories. I would like to thank Mary for helping us with our work, and I would like to congratulate my fellow writers who contributed in this chapbook. I'm from Pakistan. My name is Ifrah Jamal, and my story is about a very basic concept. It's about fear and belief, and that's also the title of my story. What motivated me to write this story was the experience I had when I was immigrating to Canada. Since I immigrated just less than 2 years ago, so the memories are still fresh in my mind. And because in Canada most of us are immigrants, so we all know this feeling when we leave behind our country, our home, our neighbors, our families especially, and then moving out into a whole new country, a very multicultural country. It's a very difficult phase of our life. And it was a very challenging phase of my life too, because I spent my whole life in just one city. So I had this fear inside of me that how I'm going to survive in this whole new world, what things are going to be, because I was so unfamiliar with everything. But then Rods gave me this opportunity to write, and gave me this opportunity to write and share my experience. And when they gave me this thing, I immediately knew that what I wanted to share with everyone. I wanted to share my experience of fear, and of course, how I overcame this fear. And since this thing is very common in us, that we are on daily basis, we go through some fear, we are afraid of something, and it's a thing which this concept of this story, the fear and belief, we are in this today's world, we have forgotten the true sense of this concept, the fear and belief. So I think we need to revise it, and we need to understand it once again, because fear is not going anywhere. It's always present, no matter what our age, what our circumstances, it's always here. So we need to find out the way how to overcome this fear. And to briefly explain how I overcame this fear of immigration is when I realized that there is the higher power, there is God, there is Allah, and He will guide me, He will assist me, He will help me to overcome this fear. And that realization brought immense relief to my heart, to my mind, that yeah, there is Allah, there is God, He will help me. And isn't it so beautiful, isn't it so simple, that when you start believing in Allah and with wholeheartedly, true belief in Him, you will feel the relief you never felt before, the comfort. And this is how I overcame my fear of immigration. And not only the fear of immigration, but also after immigrating, we all go through so many challenges. We face so many challenges, and I overcame those challenges with the same formula. No matter what the fear is, the formula remains the same. Just believe in God, believe in Allah, and everything will be fine. I would like to request you all to read this story with this perspective, and please share it with your family and friends, and especially with those who you think might need it, because us immigrants, especially the new immigrants here, we are facing this situation so many times. So I would like you to all share this story with everyone you think. And now I would like to read a few lines with you. You can get 1,000 stories from only one person of his or her fears and how they overcome them. My story of fear and belief has given me the courage and strength to deal with fear in my life. Whether I had to immigrate a country of a different language, race, and religion, or whether I had to pass a small job interview, the belief in him gave me the strength to overcome all fears. Having fear inside is also a blessing. It keeps you alive, it motivates you to do your best. Either you feel it or not right now, but it's somewhere inside of you. At some point in life, you will feel it, and then you will find the one you can believe in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So before we go on, I'd like to mention one writer, Mulugeta Zaid, who is not able to attend tonight because he and his wife just had a baby. So congratulations, Mulugeta, if you're out there. Yes. So he was also a student of mine at Sask Polytech. So just to tell you a little bit about him, he was born in a village called Embardero, Eritrea. From early childhood, he learned from his parents how to grow crops and care for livestock. In 2005, Mulugeta's last year of high school, the Eritrean government forcibly conscripted him to the army. After a year in the army, he fled and crossed the border to Sudan. He spent a year and a half in Sudan and then crossed to Israel in 2007. After living for almost a decade in Israel, the Israeli government deported Mulugeta to Uganda as part of a third country deportation scheme targeting only Black Africans. He was resettled as a refugee to Canada in 2020, and he's now married and a father. Again, blessings to you and your family, Mulugeta. And Mulugeta's story in the book shares a combination of a family story and a folktale, so it's nicely put together, very nicely put together, Mulugeta. So I want to turn to our next reader now. Neetika Mahawar hails from Delhi, India, and landed in Regina in August 2022 as a permanent resident. Neetika is a writer from heart and profession and holds a master's degree in English literature from Hans Raj College, Delhi University. After working as a content writer and copywriter for more than 5 years, Neetika stepped into the world of digital marketing to help several brands flourish in the digital realm. Right now, she's a brand new marketing coordinator with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, where she takes pride in contributing to Rider Nation and representing the football club. So I'm happy to have gotten to know Neetika a little bit over the past few months. Her passion for literature, technology, ancient history, travel, and her zest for writing makes her an all-round writer. Let's welcome her now.
Well, I kind of bragged myself, didn't I? So, yeah, I'm Neetika Mahawar. I'm from India. Namaste, everybody. Good evening. And thank you so much for saying such nice words about me, Marie. I'm so glad that I did this. I almost did not attend all the sessions. Sorry, I'm a little bit stammering. I'm really nervous. Did not expect a room full of people, but yeah. So if it hadn't been for Marie, I would not have written this story. I would have left this halfway because during the session we were taking, I lost my father and I had to fly back to India. I'm just 7 to 8 months old in this country, and I couldn't be happier because whenever I have a chance to introduce myself, I say I have a brain of a marketer, but heart and soul of a writer. This beautiful country has given me a chance to do both. So I couldn't be happier about it. And digging into about this story, which I wrote after being inspired by my maternal grandmother, late maternal grandmother. It's a personal journal of her. It's a non-fiction creative writing. And I really like to share this with you. It's a very long one, but I'm going to stick to it and going to read it. So I start with the quote from Rabindranath Tagore. He's the one who wrote our national anthem, India's national anthem. So, and I quote, "I'm willing to serve my country, but my worship I reserve for right, which is far greater than my country. I worship my country as a god. If I worship my country as a god, it is to bring a curse upon it." And I hear him. because, and I proceed, I would like to give you a gist of what this story is all about. My mother always says a writer is a mirror of society, and I believe in it. So I've just given a hint of what female, women, and those who were subjugated by patriarchy have to go through in past. It's all different now. You can look at me. I'm all modern, globalized, everything. But it was not same always for our grandmothers, mothers, forefathers, everyone. So yeah, so please bear with me when I read this. If you don't mind, I would like to say it's a long one. India, Hindustan, Bharat. The land has numerous names and is as diverse in culture, traditions, languages, custom, and caste. With all its glory, the nation has a rich history associated with each custom, each norm, and every tradition. It is fascinating to unfold the diverse folklore and stories about these practices and audiences. Alas, I'm such an unfortunate soul as I've never been able to distinguish the people of India by their caste, creed, custom, or traditions. For I believe they all have similar mindset, similar social norms, and the same conservatism, with the history of female subjugation from generation to generation, not to forget the preaching of patriarchy. Something I'm opposed to. But times have changed now and women are emancipating. Women are now educated, understand their rights, and practice them. They are now learning to be self-dependent, but the situation was not always like this. Remember how Indian traditions and cultural norms exploited women when our mothers and grandmothers were younger. They hardly had access to education, forget about being self-dependent. My maternal grandmother once shared a very personal incident with me that to light upon one such cultural flaw Indian society had in older times. The year was 2011. I was in second year of my program, studying English literature, admiring various female writers, Virginia Woolf, Sylvia Plath, you name it. I read them all. When my maternal grandmother, in India we call our maternal grandmother Nani. So if I refer to Nani, when my Nani returned from Mumbai, and I was so inspired because she used to travel all alone in all the country, and I used to be like, she travels all the country alone, I'm going to do it with the world. But yeah, so she always wore lighter colored saris as she was a widow according to Hindu customs, wearing bright colored clothes and was forbidden for widow. But the real reason for her light colored sari was because she just liked it. She always disdained social norms just like me. So one afternoon, she was sitting on a mat on our terrace, basking under the bright winter sun. The sunlight shone on her silver crown with the thin and long hair falling her creased forehead. Her grayish eyebrows frowned a little because of the direct sunlight. She squinted with her long gray lashes adjacent to the crimpled eyelids. The pointed, crinkled, pierced nose complemented her slim, wrinkled lips, sporting an almost invisible female mustache. I could stand there all day and admire her elderly beauty, wondering how gorgeous she would have been when she was younger. I handed her the newspaper, as reading the newspaper was her favorite pastime. She wouldn't put it down until she was done reading each and every page. But she set it aside and asked me to sit next to her. I was little taken aback, as she never ignored a fresh newspaper. I sat so close to her, and then she looked at me and asked, "You write, don't you? You like writing stories?" "Yes, Nani," I replied promptly. "Would you write a short story about me?" "Of course, Nani. Without a doubt. I would love to." I sprang up joyfully. "Well, I am not sure whether I would be right to call it a story. It's more of a personal journal about my childhood best friend. For some reason today I cannot stop thinking about our distorted friendship." Nani had a sad smile on her face. "Oh, Nani, whatever it is, as long as it's coming from your mouth, I am writing it. But promise me you will never publish it before I die." I jolted at the word of death. My smile faded and excitement vanished in a moment, but I nodded. "Okay, then listen carefully. When I was younger, I had a best friend named Roxana. We were of same age. In fact, one of the reasons for our bonding was that we shared our birthdays. We were such good friends that we were referred to each other as sister. We used to play together after school hours. Her parents never sent her to school, so she often used to wait outside my home for me to return from my school. Why won't her parents send her to school, Nani? In 1940s, female education was still prohibited in many households. Some even disdained my father for sending me and my sister to school. Too conservative. Nani replied with disgust in her voice. I can go on, but it is still 4 pages long. If you have to read the story, you have to read the story to know the ending. But yes, this was long back ago, but the situation has faded, but is still there. And I would like to write and explore this country and culture, and maybe do a social commentary just like I always do. That's the style I have. So please read it, and thank you so much for bearing with me. I know I'm shaking and everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you'll find that all of the stories in this book are full of adventure and interest and social commentary and a lot of other, there's a real variety in here. So I hope you will enjoy it as much as I did working on it with these people, with these writers. And that does conclude our program for this afternoon, or this evening. Thank you to all of the writers for these wonderful readings tonight, and also for the stories that are in the book. Thanks to RODS and the SWG staff, to our funders and our partners, and to you also, our audience, and the audience on Zoom that has joined us tonight. Keep an eye out for our next workshop series in the fall, and thank you very much for being with us tonight. Have a great night.